Joining us now is the Foreign Secretary Liz Truss. Ms. Truss, thanks for joining us on the programme this morning. We're heading towards a recession, aren't we?
We are in a very, very difficult economic situation. We're facing some very, very serious global headwinds. And, as you've said, inflation is extremely high. What we're doing is working to increase growth in our economy, attract investment to the United Kingdom to face down these global headwinds. But there's no doubt it is very difficult for people across Britain and, in fact, across the world.
Tell me, what exactly is the downside to a windfall tax? Why don't we do that, at least in the short term?
Well, I've just talked about how we need to attract investment. One of the successes we've had is the very high number of people in work. We've got the lowest unemployment since 1974. And the reason we've been able to do that is because Britain has been attracting investment, attracting new businesses to come up and set up in the United Kingdom. And the problem with a windfall tax is it makes it difficult to attract future investment into our country. So there is a cost in imposing a tax like that. And my view is lower taxes are the best way to attract more investment, to get the businesses into this country that can create these high-paid jobs, which is what we need to face down these global headwinds. And I travel in a lot in my job as Foreign Secretary. I've seen very, very high inflation elsewhere too. And the reason is we're coming out of the COVID crisis. There really is a problem with supply chains. We've got the appalling war that Russia has started in Ukraine, which is affecting food prices, it's affecting oil and gas prices. And we're seeing those global headwinds in the United Kingdom. What we need to do is make sure we're attracting the investment, we're attracting the businesses to be able to create those future jobs that are going to help us deal with this very difficult situation.
Yeah, but that argument immediately starts to unravel when you hear from the head of BP, the CEO, Bernard Looney, who they made $6.2 billion profit in the first quarter of this year. And they say, don't care whether you give us a windfall tax or not. It's not going to impact on the investment that we are going to make in the UK. So as far as these oil giants are concerned, a one-off windfall tax will help the people of Wigan here, bringing down the cost that they are having to shell out every single month. And it could be the difference between them eating and heating. He says it's OK to do it. So why don't the government just do it?
Well, what I want to see is businesses like that investing in new infrastructure in the United Kingdom. We need those high quality jobs. We need success in the future. So what those businesses who have made profits during the last few years need to be doing is unlocking their balance sheets and investing in the United Kingdom. That's the way we're going to get the sustainable future that we all want.
But he says that he is going to do that anyway.
Well, then he can do even more if he's got more profits that have been raised during this period.
So you're suggesting that BP should invest even more money in the UK than they are already?
I absolutely am. And we know we've got a massive issue with energy. We need more green energy. We need more nuclear energy in the United Kingdom. What I want to see energy companies doing is investing in those facilities. So the next time we have an oil and gas price spike, which is one of the major causes of this issue, we're seeing that investment in new energy. So it's easier for us to withstand it and keep prices low for consumers.
OK, so you're content, you'd rather have a recession, a short-term recession, hopefully, than get these big oil giants to pay a windfall tax. Is that what you're saying in bleak terms?
Nobody can predict whether or not there will be economic problems. The best thing the government can do is attract the investment, keep people in work. We're doing what we can to help households. I know the Chancellor is looking at further measures that we can take. Of course, we completely understand it's a very difficult situation for people across the country, including in Wigan. We are facing these global headwinds and we need to deal with them by attracting the investment into the United Kingdom, making sure that we have those high quality jobs. Of course, we're very, very concerned about the circumstances people are facing. That's why we've created things like the Household Support Fund to help people get through these difficult times. But ultimately, our country's long-term future is dependent on creating those high-paid jobs, getting that investment into Britain.
So how many hours a week should people have to work in order not to be poor?
it's up to people how many hours they work, how many hours they work a week. I mean, this is what we are doing, is making sure that all households are supported through our household support fund. It's not about how many hours people are working. It's about making sure there are enough of those high-paid jobs in the future. And we're creating at present lowest unemployment, as I've said, since 1974, so that we can weather this very, very difficult storm.
Your Home Office ministers told me just on Monday that people should work more hours and they won't be poor.
I think that's a mischaracterisation of what she said, Kay. We know that it's very, very difficult times for people across the United Kingdom. We know that we are facing higher costs. This is a global phenomenon. There's high inflation across the world because of the energy price spike, because of the issues with Russia, Ukraine, because of the fact we're recovering from COVID. And we want to do all we can to support households through this difficult time whilst building a better economy for the future, which is why investment is so important, economic growth is so important.
How is it a mischaracterisation of what she told me twice?
Well, you'll appreciate, Kay, that I've been working on the Foreign Affairs brief on issues like the Northern Ireland Protocol. So
I understand, but you're telling me
I didn't see the interview, Kay.
Well, there you go. How do you know then? How do you know it's a mischaracterisation of the interview?
Because I know Rachel, and I know that she is somebody who cares deeply about making sure that people are able to get by, that we deal with this, this issue of inflation that we're facing in our economy. And I think you've mischaracterised what she said.
Well, if you didn't hear what what was part of the interview, then there we are. There were 2 million views of it on my Twitter feed. Ed Miliband trending on Twitter yesterday as well, after calling Rishi Sunak the dude from Silicon Valley and the giant Ponzi scheme, when he was talking, likening his career to a giant Ponzi scheme. In other words, saying that this government is out of touch. How would you respond?
The Chancellor's doing a fantastic job in very difficult circumstances. He helped the country get through the COVID crisis. We've got the lowest unemployment since 1974. He's working very hard to attract investment. And if we look at Ed Miliband's record, he was one of the energy secretaries who failed to invest in energy all those years ago, which means that we are now playing catch up in areas like nuclear energy and renewable energy. And Rishi Sunak is taking the right long-term decisions for our country.
You've called the Northern Ireland Protocol very grave and serious, whereas the Prime Minister is saying that all we need is minor tweaks. Which one's correct?
We need sensible, pragmatic changes to the Northern Ireland Protocol to make it work for the people of Northern Ireland. But the reality is it isn't working on the ground. It has created political instability in Northern Ireland. We haven't seen the executive form since February. So we do need to make these changes. And these changes will make it better for everyone. They'll reduce the bureaucracy on East-West trade. They'll mean that the people of Northern Ireland are able to access the support like the VAT cuts we've brought in Great Britain. And it will also mean that people are able to get all of the goods in Northern Ireland that are available to the people of Great Britain.
Minor tweaks or grave concern? Which one is it?
Well, the situation in Northern Ireland is of grave concern. The Belfast Good Friday Agreement was a huge step change for Northern Ireland in a positive direction. We're now seeing that undermined by the fact that the Northern Ireland Protocol isn't working. And that's why we need to make changes to the Northern Ireland Protocol. So the situation of grave concern is the situation in the Northern Ireland political system, which we need to fix through these changes to the Northern Ireland Protocol.
And are those tweaks minor or major?
We're not changing everything in the protocol through our legislation. We are protecting the North-South relationship. We're protecting the single electricity market. But there are some very serious problems about East-West trade, which we need to fix. We've proposed a solution, sharing commercial data, having proper enforcement, so creating a green lane into Northern Ireland. That helps protect the EU single market, which is what they're concerned of, and also helps protect trade into Northern Ireland. So we can get a pragmatic solution. I want the EU to come to the negotiating table so we can agree that together. But if that doesn't happen, we do need to move ahead delivering this solution for the people of Northern Ireland.
OK. I think it's fair to say, Foreign Secretary, and it's not of your own making, but the government has angered the DUP. The government has angered the EU. So where does that actually leave us, the UK? Are we sort of somewhere adrift in the Irish Sea?
We have put forward a solution that both delivers for the people of Northern Ireland, that delivers for the problems that they've been facing, whether it's about tax or whether it's about trade, but also delivers for the EU single market. And that's what we want to legislate for. It's not scrapping the protocol, as some people have claimed. It's fixing the protocol, making it better, make it work better. And that works for everybody. That's the solution we want to get to.
I just want to ask you a question on behalf of Louise, who runs the BRIC here. She's the chief executive of basically a lifeline for many people here in Wigan. And she wants to know what's going to happen. The people are going back to work. Other people can no longer come here to be a volunteer. What's the government going to do to try to help organisations like this with volunteers so that this lifeline for so many people in Wigan can continue to be up and running?
Well, first of all, can I thank Louise and her team for the fantastic job they're doing. Food banks offer a real support for people, and we do want to make sure that they have enough volunteers. One of the issues we're facing, of course, is because of the very high levels of employment, the fact that more people are in work, sometimes it can be difficult to get volunteer support. But I would encourage people to help out with their local food bank to get involved, and I very much support the work she's doing.
OK, just a thought before I let you go, Foreign Secretary. You are a very strong, very successful politician and woman as well, of course. How did you feel yesterday when you heard that an MP had been arrested for rape?
Well, I'm very, very concerned about the reports that I've heard. Clearly, this is a matter for the police. The police are currently working on the case, but it is worrying that we are seeing these appalling accusations again about a parliamentarian.
Do you feel that they should have been suspended or had the whip withdrawn? Of course, we're innocent until proven guilty, but someone's been arrested for rape. Is it right that they still have the whip at this stage?
I think it's a matter for the police about whether that individual is named. I don't know who it is. I know that the police are looking at it and investigating it. And I think we need to wait for the police to conduct those investigations. I understand that this individual is not on the parliamentary estate, but I think we need to allow the police to take those investigations forward.
Understood, but you are content for them to keep the whip for now?
Well, as I've said, I don't know who they are, and I know the police are looking at this case on an urgent basis.
So you do feel it's content for them to keep the whip for now?
Well, I think it's a matter for the police and it's a matter for law enforcement. And of course, there's a question about whether or not the name is released at this. Well, it's a question for
it's not
the police about whether
the whip is kept or not, though, is it?
No, but if the whip, well, if there was a disclosure about the name of this individual, there could be an impact on the victim, and that is a matter for the police.
OK. It's good to talk to you, Foreign Secretary. Thank you for sparing the time to join us live from Wigan this morning. Very much appreciated. Thank you.